Hello divas, dudes and dolls, I'm Caricature and welcome back to my reunited, rehashed, unreinvented wheel over a review show, Very Slay, where we go over each and every main stage runway look on Drag Race Espana Season 4. And it's the reunion this week, so we have a full cast of queens to get through, which we'll also be doing next week because next week is the finale. Thank God! And y'all have no idea how excited I am to have one less season to have to edit every week. The fact that we have 3 seasons all ending within like 4 days of each other, I could cry. I hope you all know that. Like, I legitimately could sob with happiness. I can't wait to have some freaking relief. But for anyone unfamiliar with the format of the show, when we get into the looks, if I thought that the look was just fine, wasn't anything impressive, we give it an okay. If I loved it, it's a slay. And if I wasn't impressed, we give it a nay. And that's all in efforts to find my weekly slay of the day, my favorite look of the whole episode. And whichever look takes the top spot today will go head to head against our current slay of the season, which is La Coco's Royal Fashion Week look. If that top spot is still held by that look after next week's episode, that will be the look that I'll be doing an illustration of, but whichever look takes that title, we'll be getting some art, and that art will be coming to my Patreon at some point, hopefully soon. I'm trying to at least get sketches done of everything before the end of the year, because there's so many. There's just so many seasons, and between the move and life changes, I just have not had time like I would want to. I'm kind of at a point with Very Slay where I need to kind of reevaluate how I approach it. So there may be some changes coming to the show going into 2025 that may be more so about the looks that I'm drawing and not necessarily like full look reviews. I would still do those like over on Patreon, but I just think that the way that I'm doing it now, it's not conducive for the type of work I want to be doing, especially because I'm spending all of my time doing work that's making me no money, when realistically I have other avenues that I could be putting more time into to actually make more money consistently. This is just not growing at the rate that I would like it to, and it's not growing at a rate that's going to be seeing a return on a time investment anytime soon. I'm not saying the Very Slay is done, but I am saying the Very Slay is probably going to change, so just be aware of that. I hope you all stick around and stay subscribed because we're so close to the metric, but I also understand if people want to like jump out now before, you know, the ship steers in a new direction. So this is your out. But anyways, enough about all of that. Let's get into the looks. Starting us off today, we have the villain of the season, Angelita La Perversa. It's fine. There's something about it that's kind of giving me Elsa Mars from American Horror Story. And the color on her is actually very, very pretty. The drape of the skirt is nice. I don't really care for the top of it with the bottom of the skirt. There's just something about the structure of the top that I just don't think is all that flattering on her. I think the neckline is nice, but it's just mostly through here. I think the way that the textile work is done, it creates some unnecessary bulk. I'm gonna give her look an okay. Up next, we have Chloe V2, very club girl. The hair's cute. I mean, Y2K hair is very in. I don't think you can go wrong with it. I like the color of it. The outfit's fine. It's a performance outfit. I like the individual pieces of the look, but it's ho-hum, and I'm not impressed by it. I'm gonna give it an okay. Then up next, we have Dita Dubois. I like the idea here. I like the color of this a lot on her. This lavender is very, very pretty. The boots are an interesting choice. They're just really bulky. I think the way that she has patterned them with all of the giant flowers has only created more bulk. There's something about them that's very like garden shoe, and I think that's just because of like the tread on the sole. I like the gloves. Not a big fan of the hair. I think it's just a little messy. It's not awful. I think it's the best thing we've seen so far though, so I'm gonna give her a soft slay. Then up next we have Kelly Passa. It's fine. Again, like I was kind of underwhelmed collectively with the looks for this reunion. I get that it's a reunion and so people aren't gonna be pulling out all the stops for it, and that's fine. I like the color palette here. I like the print on the jumpsuit. The shoes are fun. I like that the shoes are like the same tone of red as everything else that's red in the look. I think that makes the look more cohesive overall. It's very 80s hair metal, which I can get behind, so I'm gonna give her a soft slay as well. Up next, we have La Niña del Antro. This is, I believe, the same hair that she wore for, I think it was her second look in the ball in the first episode of the season. Makeup is the best easily that we've seen so far up to this point. Love her mug all the time. It's just always really good. Base level, this is very her drag. Like it's got something that's like kind of grungy, kind of sexy. There's still a level of elegance to it. I wish I could wear a gown like this and have it actually be this long. because I'm so freaking tall that on me, this would probably be like to my ankles at full length. But this is really pretty. I think it's very simple. Like, it's very simple, but it's not awful. And I think it's a good overall cohesive look. So I'm gonna give her a soft slay. And then we have La Coco in this fringe bodysuit. This is a tough episode for me because I just don't really care for most of these looks. Again, like, it's a look that she's wearing on her body. I think the look itself is pretty solid on its own, like as a garment, but I don't like it with these shoes, and I don't like it with this hair, style or color. And the makeup is just like, I know her makeup is really simple and really soft. There's just something about it that just isn't hitting. It's just not hitting for me like I want it to. And I think just the overall cut of some of the fringe on this bodysuit isn't done in the most flattering way to like really accentuate her body. So I'm gonna give her look an okay. Then up next we have Mariana Stars. Gown-wise, one of the best looks we've seen so far today. I think the styling makes sense. I love the glove with it. The earrings work. This shoe's the right choice, I think, for a gown like this. The only thing I really didn't care for was the makeup. I think of all of the mugs that we've seen out of her in this competition, this is one of her weaker ones. Not the craziest about the hair with this either. If you're gonna do a dress like this, you needed something that was just like a little sleeker. It's still pretty good. I'm gonna give her a slay. I think just in terms of the fashion element, it's the best that we've seen so far. Up next, we have Maggie. Maggie's look here, in my opinion, is one of the more cohesive ones we've seen from her. I like the styling of it a lot, actually. I like the jewelry a lot. I think the hair makes sense for the look as well. The dress itself, like, it's fine. Like, it's not super impressive. But I think compared to some of her other looks on the runway, this is a drastic improvement. So I'm gonna give her a soft slay. Then up next we have Miss Christo, who is giving us this lovely little camp snacky moment. This is fierce. I loved that she brought the packaging in and made the packaging into fashion. And then she like changed the packaging to have her name mixed in it. This is so good from a fashion perspective. It's very Moschino energy to me. And if there's one thing that Miss Christo is gonna do, it's have a good fashion reference at any given point. I really enjoy this a lot. It's gonna be a slay for me. Then we have Porca the Club Kid, who I was sad to see sided with Angelita during that little bit, because it kind of made me lose some respect for Porca a little bit, because Angelita is just like unnecessarily mean. With this look, I love the headpiece. The headpiece is the best part of the whole thing. The gown is pretty cool too. I like the black element throughout it. I think the color is really lovely. It's a color combo I quite like a lot, actually. Not the biggest fan of the makeup. The hair with this is a choice, but I think just in terms of like initial impact, this is the most interesting look that we've seen up to this point, so I'm gonna give it a slay. Then we have Shani La Santa. It's a sheer crop and skirt. I like the gloves. I like the shoes. I don't really care for this like beaded jeweled fringe thing that's going on the sheer element here. I don't like this hair with it. Honestly, I think this hair is just not great. For me, it is just not exciting because I'm a look diva. I like the fashion element of drag more than anything. And for me, it's such a visual art form. I understand that like not every performer is a look first approach, and that's fine to not be like that. I know a lot of folks prefer a performer first approach. As somebody who doesn't describe themselves as a drag performer, but instead a drag artist, for me, like that's a mentality that I cannot wrap my head around for myself. For other people, yes, but for me, no. So I'm gonna give Shani's look here an okay. And then finally we have Vampirasian. It's cute, but I don't like it that much. Like, the silhouette's nice. I don't like the tail. I don't like the ears. I think the print is fine. I like the makeup. I think it's one of the prettier mugs we've gotten out of her in this competition. I like how soft it is. Again, this is my problem with the reunion this season, is that like nothing is a real wow factor moment. And that's disappointing as a viewer. So I'm gonna give her a soft slay. And now when we get into these looks, I think easily the only one that I found like super impressive to me that is something I would want to draw would be Porca's. So Porca gets my slay of the day today. But Porca does not hold a candle to this look from Lakoko. So once again, we're not even doing the bout. Lakoko is staying in that top spot going into the finale next week. So we'll find out soon who's going to be our new Spanish drag superstar and who's going to be our slate of the season. And on top of that, don't forget that the week after the finale, there will be a bonus video coming to Patreon going over the unaired looks from the season. So if you want to get into all of those, including the lost looks that we did get to see on the runway from our eliminated girls, that video is where that discussion will happen. We will see you all then. Don't forget, as always, to like, comment, subscribe, all those lovely little things. And don't forget to go out there and make sure that you stay kind, stay queer, and that your day is very slay.